Good morning, everyone. So I could have scheduled this live session, but because I'm just in the spirit this moment, I don't want to delay it for any reason. So I just thought of, okay, you know what? Let's just do this live right about now. So if you happen to be scrolling on YouTube and you come across this live stream, please do well to let me know. Just drop a comment in the comment section. I don't know if I can drop a comment myself so that I will drop a comment. I don't think I can. Let me see. Start a poll, start a Q&A. Uh, okay, so I'm not sure I can actually drop a comment, but anyways, we are going to do this regardless. Okay, so on today's video, please, if you happen to come on here and you can hear me, you can see me, please let me know. I'm trying to get my other screen up so that I can actually follow up well with what I'm doing. All right. Yeah. So today we are going to be doing a book review. So I promised you guys, like maybe the last 3 videos that I made or so, that I'm going to be doing a book review on The Richest Man in Babylon. And guys, today is the day that we get to do that. All right. So this is the book right here with me. I'm going to be looking at it and probably making some references on the book. All right, so because I don't want us to miss anything, I want to be able to mention every single thing that I believe is of importance and is going to help us to in the journey to make money and to keep money and to multiply money. All right, so like I said, we are reviewing the book The Richest Man in Babylon, written by George Clason. According to the book, I think this book was written, when was that again? Probably like, was it in the 1800s or something like that? This book is old. That is why you see that the wordings of this book are actually written like in the old Bible language. This book is old, but as old as it is, right? As old as it is, this book, the lessons in this book are so practical that they are still very much applicable to our present day life, our present day conditions, when it comes to work, when it comes to our finances, when it comes to making and keeping money. It is still very, very valid. It just looks like a book that was written yesterday, right? So I really love to read a lot, and when I read, I try to, like have conversations with about the books that I read with other persons. Yeah, so instead of me just doing that by, doing that to an audience of one, I think I actually prefer when I come on live and then I'm able to interact with my online community so we can discuss the book together. So if you happen to have read The Richest Man in Babylon, please do well to drop your lessons in the book and let's just talk about it together. I'm actually seeing, like a few persons joining. Please, I beg you, if you happen to see this, just say hi to me in the comment section. It's really going to mean a lot to me. Okay, so please me and say hi. My other screen is not up yet. I'm still trying to get it up, right? So that I want to see myself and I want to see how the view is from the viewer's angle. All right, so this book is so interesting, you guys, and we're going to start from the very beginning. I don't want to skip any part because I feel like every aspect of this book is really important. All right, so I have 10 persons joining on here. Please, you guys should say hi. Or is it that you cannot say hi? Is it that you cannot comment? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think you can comment. Please drop a comment for me. It really means a lot. Okay. uh All right, so this book actually starts, like I said, started very interestingly. So it started with just the kind of thing that a lot of us actually go through. Sometimes you can just sit down with yourself and you're asking, you know what, I've been working for years, I have been making such amounts of money, but how come day in, day out, I am literally feeding from hand to mouth? How come I am barely surviving? How come I don't have enough money? And as at the time, I'm so sorry, guys. So like you're gonna hear a lot of planes flying over because I don't live far from the airport actually, so pardon me, pardon any noises that you hear in the background. All right, so as I was saying, as at the time that this book was written, Babylon was a city that was thriving, that had a lot of wealth and riches, a lot of gleam, what do you call it now? And glamour, the way we say it in society, right? So a lot was actually going on, but despite the fact that people were, despite the fact that all of this was actually happening, there were still people that were living in abject poverty. There were still people that were living from hand to mouth. So it was in this kind of scenario that this particular man called Akkad, if you have read the book, you should be familiar with Akkad. That is where the story started. So Akkad is an artisan, right? I think he's into making of he's like a carpenter or a clay person, something like that, but he was an artisan. And he was literally like like having this kind of deep thoughts within himself, like, how come I've been working for years, I've been working for so long, how come I don't have money, how come I'm in the midst of so much and I don't have anything to show for all my years of labor, how come my family and I, we are literally just barely surviving. All right, so while he was having that conversation with himself, like a lot of us usually have, especially when you want to have a lot and it's not forthcoming, right? So while he was having this conversation with himself, a friend of his came to him and he was like, please, I need you to lend me money. So he was like, even if I have money, I'm not going to lend it to you because I actually need, if I have a lot of money, I won't lend it to you because I need money myself. Okay, hi. So your name is not. Okay, hi, KKK. Okay, hi. Thank you for joining this live stream. I really appreciate it. I don't know why I can't get my second screen up. Thank you so much. Thank you for the love. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. So his other friend came to him to ask him for money, and he was like, I'm not going to lend you money. I don't have any money to even lend you. So the friend was asking him, how can you not have money when you are working? So he had to ask the friend, if you have money, you will come and loan money from me in the first place, right? You will have enough money for yourself and everything. So they started, so what he was thinking, the thoughts he was having, he started discussing it with his friend, that we are hardworking young men. We've been working for a long time. How come we don't have money? So they now remember that they had a friend who apparently happened to be the richest man in Babylon at that time. And they were like, you know what? We grew up with this man. He was not more intelligent. He's not more intelligent than us. He's not more hardworking than us. But he happens to have a lot of money. He happens to has made a lot of money in his lifetime. So what does he know that we don't know? What is he doing that we are not doing that is making him to make all these amounts of money that he's making? And they humbly, which is like one trait that you really want to have if you want to make money. You have to humble yourself and ask questions. Don't be proud. Don't be like, no, I'm bigger than that person, I can't go and talk to them. Oh, I don't want to feel any kind of way or whatever. Humble yourself and ask people questions. Ask the right questions. How are you making money? How are you doing it? What are you doing? How can I do what you are doing to make money, right? So that was the first thing that they did. They went to they decided that they were going to go meet this friend of theirs, and what's the name of this man now? Sorry, let me try and get that. Okay, no, Akkad is the richest man in Babylon who they wanted to go and meet, right? So these other two persons, they were like two different persons, I think Bansia and Kobe, something like that. All right, so yeah. So they went on to meet Akkad, who is the richest man in Babylon. And thankfully, Akkad was generous with his information, right? He was generous with his knowledge, how he has made money and how they too can go ahead to make money. So that's actually formed the basics of this entire book. And that is what we are going to be reviewing together today. How do people make money? How do they multiply money? So that is exactly what we are going to be looking at today. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, so I think I'm just going to continue like this, please. But if you can let me know on my screen that the portrait is actually like showing up properly, is like fits for is showing properly on mobile, please let me know, because I can't seem to get my second screen up and I'm not about to stop this live stream. All right, so let's just go on to it. So what he shared with them, and in fact what they did was to gather up, like other of their friends that were also in the same situation that they were, being in the midst of plenty and having very little. They gathered themselves together and then they went to Akkad to have these conversations with them. Okay, hi Jax the Max man, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Please, where are you joining me from? KKK and Jax man, where are you joining me from? Let me know in the comment section, please. Thank you so much. Let me know where you're joining me from, please. All right, so what this was what Akkad shared with them, right? That there are 7 cures to a lupus, and like I said, this book was written in the Bible language, at the time, right? So I'm just going to rephrase some of these things in contemporary English, right? So, like, how do you 7 cures to a lupus? This was what the richest man in Babylon shared with them, that there are 7 things you can do to go from having nothing, to go from having zero money, zero savings, to actually growing and multiplying your money. All right, so the first thing that I have here is number 1, start thy pause to fattening. So what that means is to start doing something that would actually generate income, or that will bring in income for you. So if you want to make money and you don't have any, the first thing that you want to ask yourself is, what can I start doing to start making money? Do I want to get a job to start making money? Do I want to learn a skill that I can sell as a service to start making money? What can I start doing? So that is the first thing that you want to do. And then there is also, Jackson Maxman, thank you so much. Your videos help me a lot. Thank you so much. I really love that. That is very encouraging. Thank you so much. All right, so what do you want? You want to learn a skill, start rendering it as a service, or start a business, start selling something, or you get a job. The most important thing is actually to start have a source of income. And once you have a source of income, one thing that is very, in fact, I think that that's like the bedrock of this entire book, is to keep a portion of what you have, save a portion of whatever income that is coming in. And I'm going to get into that as we proceed. All right, I'm going to get into that as we proceed. So, like, according to the book, a part of all you have is yours to keep. So when you start making money, you put in a certain percentage of that money in your purse. Next month or next week or next time you get paid or next time you sell something, you take a fraction of that money, put it in your purse. That is how you start your first to fattening. And the entire idea about that in simple English is actually having a source of income and saving money. These are very important. Have a source of income and save money. Hope you understand it. All right. So, and based on what the author said, he said to save a tenth of all that you make. Save 10% of all that you make. So let's say, for instance, you are earning, let's say if you're in the US, UK, Canada, you are earning, let's say, $2,000 per month. You're earning $3,000, $5,000, whatever it is that you are earning. Make sure that you save 10% of that amount. So if you're earning, say, $3,000, or let's say if you're earning $3,000 per month in any of these foreign countries, then that means that you are going to be saving 10% of that amount, which is $300. Next month, you're saving another 10%, another $300. So by the time you do this for 1 year straight, in 12 months, you will find out that you would have made a total of $3,600 in savings. Now, according to the book, like a lot of people will say, how would I save this amount of money when I don't even have enough, when what is coming in is not even enough to take care of my finances? All right. So there is this thing in, is it economics or finance, that is saying that no matter how much you make, it is never really going to be enough, because as long as your income is increasing, your expenses are also increasing to match up with the income that is coming in. So you are the one that gets to decide what you are going to do. You're the one that decide, you're going to be the one to decide, okay, you know what, I'm going to be prudent. to spend only this amount of money and to save the rest. Okay, so because even if you, let's say you're earning $3,000 a month and it's not enough for you to sort your bills, if you start earning $5,000 in next month, it is still not going to be enough to sort your bills, right? So that is like a general law. That's like a general thing. That is like just how life operates. And that is why you have to be intentional to actually save money aside, keep money aside for yourself. And what we are going to do with that money that you're saving, we are going to be discussing it. If you are in Nigeria or probably like any other African country, so let's say you are making about 200,000 a month, even if it's 100K a month, 500,000, 1 million naira, you know that you're saving 10%. So if you're earning 200K per month, you know that you're saving 20,000 naira. If you're earning 300K a month, you're saving 30,000 naira. So, but if you do that in 12 months, which is a year from now, you would realize that you have saved a total of 360,000 naira. And let me tell you, there is this thing that savings does to a person. When you know that you have money somewhere that nobody lay claims to except yourself, right? When you have this kind of money somewhere, it gives you a kind of confidence, right? When you are whatever you're doing, it gives you a certain kind of confidence, and you can't even trade that for anything. Okay, so and then I also wanted to mention, let me not forget, like I said, I don't want to forget any point that I want to mention, because everything is really important. So a lot of people will say, but all the money that I earn, when I say a part of what you earn is just to keep, people would probably argue that, but everything that I make is mine to keep, is all of my money. But that's not true. It's not all of your money. It's not all of your money, because when you, let's say you use public transport or you buy fuel, you have to pay, right? So you pay the driver. So that means that every single day that you go to work, a part of what you earn is going to the driver. You also purchase goods from the market. You buy groceries from the supermarket and all of that. So that means you are also paying a part to these people. You have family to take care of, bills to take care of, maybe school fees to pay for children or family or siblings or something like that. So you have to pay all of those people. If you are renting or you are living in a rented property, that means that a part of all you earn is also going to your landlord. I don't know if you get my point. So at the end of the day, by the time you cut out, okay, this money, this portion is for this portion is for this portion is for that, at the end of the day, you find out that you have nothing for yourself. The only thing you have, you use everything to sort out bills. That is why it is important to be intentional about the money that you make. All right. That is why it is very important to be intentional about the money that you keep, not just the money that you make, because the only thing that you can actually influence is the money that you keep and what you eventually do with that money. Hey guys, once again, thank you for joining me. Please, I'm seeing some new additions here. If you're just coming on this live stream, please drop a comment for me in the comment section. Let me know where you are joining me from. It is actually 11:34 a.m. over here in Nigeria. Let me know where you are joining me from and probably what time it is in your location or in your country. All right. Yeah. So that is the first thing, guys. So the next thing is to control your expenditure. Like I mentioned before, that's the second rule that you want to follow if you want to actually, grow, become rich and grow wealth. Right. Inspire, read. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. So as I was saying, the second thing is to control your expenditure. Like I said, whatever you're making is always going to meet up with your expenses are always going to meet up to the income that you are having, right? So you have to be disciplined, or you have to discipline yourself to control your expenses. Like when we talk about expenses, there are necessary expenses, there are must-have expenses, then there are not so important expenses. There are what that is just a want. It's not a necessary expense. But you paying your rent every month is a necessary expense, right? Then there are certain things that are necessary expenses. If you have to transport yourself to work every day, that is a necessary expense. So what you want to do for this particular rule is to sit down and write down all your expenses in a month and categorize them into necessary expenses and wants. So categorize them like that and know what you spend as necessary, as a necessary expense, and what you spend as a wants. So by the time you find these out, what you want to do is to do away with the wants, or at least cut them down or reduce the budget for them. So that way you are still able to live within the income that you have after you have taken out the 10% that you are going to be saving. I hope that's clear. All right, so please, if my mic goes off at any time, please let me know that my mic is off so that I can just make adjustments. All right, so we are talking about the 7 cures for a lean pause. The first one is to start a pause to fattening, which literally means saving money. So you want to first start saving money. 2, you want to control your expenses, and then 3, you want to grow your what do you call it now, you want to make that gold multiply. So then in those times, they literally use gold. So they didn't really say money like that. I think they use more of gold. So they say to the third rule to this, or the third cure for a lean pause is to make that gold multiply. So what this literally means is, once you start saving money and you've obeyed the first law, which is to you've obeyed the first law, which is to save 10% of your income. In fact, 10% is like the minimum. So if you can save 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, absolutely fine. It helps you to actually achieve your goal faster. All right. So if you've obeyed the first law, which is to save 10% of your income, you have also put your expenses under control. The third thing you want to do is to multiply your goals or multiply your money. Now, how do you do that? Now, you have been saving money, right? If you save money in the bank, or you save it anyhow you want to save it, it doesn't actually generate revenue or income for you. It is just there. It doesn't necessarily increase in value. The only time it increases in value is if you are able to make that money grow for you. And how do you actually make money grow for you? It is by putting that money into investment. Investment in the sense of, you can put it into a business, you can put it into the stock market, you can put it into real estate, you can, there are different ways to go about it. All right. In the old times, they had lenders, right? Money lenders, that you can give your money to a money lender, and then at the end of the year or a particular period, the money lender pays you a certain amount as interest plus your capital. And that is something that we have in the banks currently, right? So you can open fixed deposit accounts, you can open mutual funds account, right? So that the bank can do business with your money and give you interest at specific periods, per quarter, annually, or as the case may be. So that is the third thing you want to do. Don't save money and keep it lying idle. Put this money to work. That is the third cure for a lean pause, or the third thing, the third law or third rule that is going to help you to grow rich, to grow wealthy. All right. So the first thing is to guard thy treasures from loss. Guard thy treasures from loss, in the sense that you don't want to go and put your money somewhere that is not going to be profitable. You don't want to go and just put your money anywhere, right? You have to be very careful about the money that you've worked so hard to make. You want to be careful where you put it. You want to be careful that you are putting it, maybe if you're handing it to somebody, or you're putting it in a particular investment, you want to make sure that you have done your due diligence, that your money, your capital itself is secure. So once you want to do that, because if you don't do that, you find out that you end up like losing all your money. So I remember when Akkad was telling his friends his story of how he actually started making money, because Akkad, the richest man in Babylon, was actually a writer. They used to call them scribes at the time, right? So he was a writer. Okay, so that was where, so when he writes, he gets paid. When he writes, he gets paid. That was where he actually started saving money from to grow his wealth and everything. So by the time he wanted to make his first investment, what he did was to give the money that he has saved in a whole year, he gave it to a brickmaker, because the brickmaker told him, oh, I'm traveling to the north, I'm traveling to traveling across border, and when I travel, I'm going to buy jewelries, I'm going to buy this and that, and come back to sell. So if you give me your money, when I come back, I sell, then we'll be able to make a profit together. Do you know what happened? When you do that, now it's not say the person is a bad person, but this person is a brick maker. Like, let's say this person is into architecture, construction, or something like that, and then you trust that person with your money, your hard-earned money, to go and buy you jewelries. This person is vast in the business of brickmaking, construction, architecture, building, and design, and all those things. But this person has no knowledge of fashion or jewelry and all that. So that was the first mistake that he made. And eventually he bought the goods, actually, quite all right. He bought the goods, but he was cheated because he didn't know what was a good jewelry, what was a fake jewelry. So at the end of the day, instead of them making money, they eventually lost everything. And that was like a very hard lesson for Akkad to learn. So he was teaching his friend ahead of time. So when you want an investment, make sure that you put your investment, you put your money into a safeguarded investment that you are not going to lose. You don't want to lose your capital. That is a lesson in that. All right. So the fifth cure for a lame pause is to make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. So what this literally means is that okay. So what this literally means is that like own your own house if you can afford to. I mean, there are people that are already in that level. They can afford to own their own homes. If you can, by all means, but if you cannot, absolutely fine. But just have it in mind that as you're working and progressing, one of the things that you want to do is to own your own home. All right. So over here in Nigeria, I know that the rules are actually different because you have to pay you have to pay your mortgage, or you have to pay taxes on your house and everything. But and then to another thing that you can even do is when you own your home, you put like a part of it for rent, right? So that you can use that rent to offset some bills. Probably if it's even the tax, you can use your rent to offset that and all that. So it's not coming from your purse per se. Okay. So what he even advised here is, instead of you staying in a rent apartment and paying rent every single month, what you can do is to probably like take a mortgage or something like that, like try to, or maybe take a loan, build the house or buy the house, and that money you will use to pay rent every month or every year, use it to offset that loan. By the time you're done paying back that money or paying back your mortgage, by like, you will be the one that owns the house 100%, and that means the expense of paying rent has totally gone off your expenses list forever. All right, so that is what the right term means by that. Now, number 6 is to ensure a future income for yourself. Ensure a future income for yourself. So what that literally means is that as you are growing older, of course, if you're a youth, if you're a young person, you actually have the strength to do work right now. Hi, Izzy. How did you manage to find me on YouTube? Hi, oh my God, I am so happy to see you. Hi. Good morning. Good morning, Izini. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate that. All right, so let's continue. Like I said, ensure a future for your income, right? So as a young person, you have strength to work right now, but it is not always going to be like that. As you grow older, you are going to, lose strength. You won't be able to work as much as you currently do, right? You won't be able to make as much money as you currently do. So right now that you're so young, right now that you can still make money, you want to put things in place that will ensure that in the future. Oh my God. Oh, thank you so much. I subscribed from that LinkedIn post. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing? Thank you. All right. So, as I was saying, you want to be able to have something in place that will be making you money on autopilot, so that when you grow older, you don't have to work before you make money. The income that you already, all the things, the fundamental things that you already put on ground would actually help you to be having consistent income. So let's take, for instance, that you invested into real estate when you were much younger, or you invested into the stock market when you were much younger, right? Now, as time goes on, these investments are going to appreciate in value. If maybe your real estate is in land banking or is in rentage, over time is going to appreciate. So maybe you bought a property at a certain amount today, maybe 5 years later, 10 years later, or even 20 years later when you're older, of course, that would have the value of that particular property would have greatly increased. If it is a stock that you bought, the value would have greatly increased, and then you'll be, so you can literally be getting, or even if it's rentage, right? Even if it's rentage, you know that every single month or every single year, this certain amount of money is coming in, and it's going to be able to, for it's going to be enough for you to keep taking care of yourself. It can also be a business that you start today. You start a business today, you put, like, as the years go on, you put all necessary things in place. You put your managers in place. You put, directors, everybody that has to be, that can make that business to be successful. You put them in place so that when you get older, you can no longer do the work. Those people that you have employed to do the work can help you to keep making money and generating income for that business, right? So when you're older, you don't have to stress yourself. You don't have to suffer. There is a flow of income that is coming in consistently for you to take care of yourself in old age. That is what that means. And number 7, which I said 7 cures for a lame person. Number 7 is your ability to increase your earnings. So like you're a young person now, what you want to do is to increase your capacity to earn. So what that literally means is that trying to increase income. Okay, so if you are making a certain amount today, you want to try as much as you can to make sure that increases progressively. That increases. So one way that the author said you can actually do that, right? One way he said you can do that is to develop your skills more. Because the more you learn, the more you get better at your skill, and the more you can actually charge for that skill or for that service that you have. That is one thing that you can do. Also, let's say you are a 9 to 5 employee. One thing that you can do to also improve your income is to improve your performance, is to also, learn more, get more certifications and all of those things. It will help to also increase your income. If you're a business owner, of course, you want to learn more about business, about expansion, about distribution that is coming to you. So to sum it up, it will say that increase thy ability to earn more money by learning more of your skill, by becoming better at your skill. Because the better you are at your skill, the better you can actually charge, the higher you can actually charge and get to make more money. Because the truth is, at the end of the day, if you are making, even if you are saving money, you are following all the 7 cures for a lame person, you are following them diligently, my dear. If the money that you are putting aside is so little, what you are going to be getting out is also going to be so little, and you won't be able to achieve this riches and wealth thing that we are trying to talk about. But if you are earning a substantial amount and you're putting away a substantial amount every single day, every single month, it will help you to achieve your goal faster. I hope you get my point. All right, so that is that about that. The 7 cures for a lame person. I'm just going to recap them in case just for the persons that are just joining me now. Again, if you are just joining, please let me know in the comment section. Drop me a comment that you're just joining. Let me know where you're joining me from as well, and I will give you a shout out on the stream. Okay. All right, so the first thing that I said here is to start that pause to fattening, which is make money and save money. The second thing is to control your expenses, right? Like budget, write down the list of your expenses, categorize them into necessary expenses and unnecessary expenses, which are probably like just wants, right? You want to do that, and then also like have a budget and be able to stick to that budget. The third thing is to make your goals multiply. Make your goals multiply by putting it into investments. I mentioned there are different kind of investments: real estate, stock market, investing in startups, investing in a business. So many things that you can actually do to multiply your money. The next thing is, number 4 thing, is to guard thy treasures from loss. I'm still going to elaborate this as we proceed. The next thing is to make of thy dwelling a profitable investment, which is to own your own home, like I said. Then invest in a future income, or ensure a future income for yourself. Like I just finished explaining that now, and also increase thy ability to earn, which is the 7th one right here. All right, so if you're still watching and this is making sense to you, please let me know that this is actually making sense. And if you happen to be watching this, because this replay is going to be live on my channel after now, so if you happen to be watching the replay, also, drop a comment for me. Let me know that this was actually valuable to you. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. So yeah, that is that about that. There are a lot of other things that I want to say, but I think that I'm now missing some of the things that I said I don't want to miss. But in any ways, let's go on to the last part of what I want us to discuss about this book, which is the 5 laws of gold. Now, since we are not really necessarily dealing with gold right now, I'm going to replace that with money. All right. So the 5 laws of money. Now, if you want to become rich, remember we are studying the richest, or we are reviewing the richest man in Babylon. And this is actually the richest man of his time at that time, telling us what he did that made him the richest man in Babylon. If he was the richest man, that means he was richer than the king at the time. Of course, you know that the king literally owns most of the most of everything, actually, from properties, real estate, to servants, to slaves, to houses, a lot of things actually. But this man was richer, so you want to actually listen to him. Okay. All right, so let's proceed and talk about 5 laws of money. If you want to grow, you want to make money, you want to keep money, you want to multiply money to become rich. Now, the first law of money is to put 1/10 of everything you make aside. I have already explained this before. So, but you want to put aside one tenth, that is like 10% of everything that you make. And I also mentioned that 10% is the least that you want to put aside. You can decide to put aside 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, as the case may be. All right, depending on your level of income and maybe your expenses and all of those things, right? But the least you should put aside is 10%. So like, you want to make this a habit. Let me tell you guys, the first time I read this book, because I've read this book, like, I can't even count. I've lost count of the number of times I've actually read this book, and it has been very helpful for the last, probably I've had this book for like maybe since 2016 up until now. That should be about like 10, is it 10 years, 9 years now, probably 8 to 9 years now that I've had this book. I've read it a couple of times. And what usually happens is that I will start with the whole savings thing. Yeah, put 1/10 of everything I make. Yeah, thank you, isn't it? Put 1/10 of everything you make aside. So I would start off, with the zeal, putting money aside. And just like the author said, once you start putting money aside, like in your bank, maybe you have like a savings account or even a mutual funds account. I used to save in a mutual funds account at the time. Like, every time I put something aside, if it is 5K, if it is 10K, I put it aside. Sometimes it's like 50K, 100, whatever it is. Just what we have with that, what do you call that thing in Nigeria now? That thing that people use, is it colo? Yeah, that used to save money, right? That just that kind of thing, right? Any amount that you as long as it's 10% and above, just keep it there. And I would literally be doing that, and in a few months you will see that you've actually like gathered a lot of money, you've kept a lot of money aside, and it just makes you happy, just gives you happiness, actually, right? So, but as time goes on, like, backslide again, before you know it's putting money in that savings. And what the author said is, when you're doing that, you're literally eating your capital, like the capital that the seeds you're supposed to plant that will now bring more seeds, you are eating it off. So at the end of the day, you end up having nothing. You don't have seeds to plant or talk of fruits that you are going to reap tomorrow. And that is really sad. So this last time that I've read this book, I'm like, okay, you know what? We're going to do this again and make this into a habit. Yeah, use Piggyvest to save. And Piggyvest is actually like a lifesaver at this particular time. So whatever way actually works for you, right? You just go ahead and start saving, putting money aside every single month. In 12 months, you'll be surprised how much money that you have actually saved. All right, so that's the first law. The second law of money is to now invest this money, right? I have like people that they would save money. They are actually very good and prudent at saving money. But you see, when it comes to investing the money, because of the fact that they are so scared of the risk involved, they would rather leave the money like that. And you find out that listen, so let me go and save some money. I was contemplating. Please go and save it. It's very important. It's very, very important. So you find out that when you don't save money, so let's say you kept 1 million naira or $1,000 aside, 12 months later, especially if you're in Nigeria, the value of that money would have depreciated because of the kind of currency and the economy that we have right now. That money would have depreciated. In fact, that money would depreciate. The only way you are going to save that money is if you put it into a profitable investment. So if you put 1 million naira aside, maybe 1 year ago or 2 years ago, you might think that, oh, I've Oh, and I'm just seeing that. Oh my god. Uh, so I think I'm audible now. I think my mic went off. Oh, this thing can be so terrible when your mind goes off in the middle of dishing out Rema. Okay, but I think it's on right now. Isn't it? Please, if you come back and you can now hear me, please let me know. Oh, I'm so. Oh, great, great, great. It was from my end. It was not you. It was my mic. I think I'm just going to take this. I think the mic is low or something, so I'm just going to take this off so that it doesn't disturb what I'm doing. Okay. I'm almost wrapping up anyways. I'm almost wrapping up. So what I was literally saying is the five laws of money is I feel like it's actually like very is actually like the most important part, right? It's actually the most important part. Everything about the seven cures for a lame pulse, I feel like is embedded inside the five laws of gold, which is like putting away 1/10 of your money, investing your money, seeking expert advice, not investing in tricky businesses or tricksters, and then also not investing in businesses that you are not aware of. You are able to do all of these things. You are on your path to wealth. You are on the road to gathering riches and gathering wealth. And let me say this, like every rich person that you know, think about them. Every rich person, let's use Nigeria now, for instance. Think about them. People like Dangote, people like what's their name now? Um, Otedola and all of these people. And by the way, we have like, a lot of rich people that are not even like known, right? Even if you go to the Western world, if you start talking about people like them, Warren Buffett and Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump and all of those people, you'll find out that all their wealth was actually amassed by following these very simple laws. And that's a funny thing. These laws look very simple, but they are hard to implement. I mean, the laws of making money, they are not hard laws, they are simple laws. It's just that they are hard to implement. It's hard for us human beings to be disciplined, right? But if you can discipline yourself to follow through, trust me, you'll make money. If you look at somebody like Warren Buffett, he actually started investing in the stock market right from a very young age. I think he was probably like 12 or so when he started investing in the stock market. So imagine when you start investing in the stock market and you actually watch a stock grow from maybe $50 to $150 to $200 to $1,000, and you have like thousands of units of these shares. You can never be broke. You can never grow poor. Like you are rich. You don't have, even if you don't do anything else in your life, you are rich. If you look at all the richest people, either they're investing like either they have like a source of income where they are earning a lot of money. They put this money into real estate, into stocks, into a business, into venture capitalism. Like any of these things. That is how they are making their money. So anybody that wants to make money, you can actually make money following these same principles. But like I said, one of the things that you want to do is actually increase your capacity to earn more so that you can fast track the process. You don't want to use like a long period of time, maybe years, saving up money before you can invest, before you can see like tangible results. So what I keep telling myself is to increase my earning capacity so that my savings capacity can also increase and my investment capacity can increase and everything can just, like move a little faster than it usually would. All right. Yeah. So that is that about that. So yeah, I don't want to drag it further than this. I'm just going to mention one last thing that this book actually mentions, which I feel is very important because, at a point, the richest man in Babylon, which was Akkad, the king even had to employ him to teach the citizens of Babylon how to make money. That is something that you are not going to see in today's government. They don't want you to know how to make money. They don't want us to know how to make money. They want to be the one making all the money, controlling all the money, and making all the rules. But the few people that are able to learn and to get out of that rat race, and they welcome them in that upper class or that upper society or whatever. So that is what you and I also want to strive for. Okay, so then they would the king actually employed the richest man in Babylon to teach them. So what they do is they will gather together in a particular place. They called it the Temple of Bel at the time, right? Yeah, increase in earning capacity equals savings and investment increase. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's just it. All right, so they will gather together and Akkad will teach them. So on this particular day, they gather together. They will bring up a topic and then they will discuss about it. So this particular day, the topic that they brought up was the the subject of luck, that somebody can get lucky and make money, right? So they had a conversation about it, and I'm just going to talk about that and wrap up this live stream with that talk, because even over here in Nigeria, in our modern day life, we also talk about that. That person was lucky, and maybe that person was born into a rich home. Maybe they had a rich uncle that helped them. Maybe they were able to travel abroad and change their life, or maybe they are just idea of luck. So one thing that one of the men there, one thing that he said was, is it not possible that I can get lucky, and as I'm going on my way, I see like somebody's purse, because like they used to have like purses, their purses that they would wrap around their waist. That's how they used to do it. So he asked that, is it not possible that as I'm walking along the road, like the goddess of luck will just visit me, will just bless me, and then I see like a huge purse of gold somewhere on the road. So they started deliberating on it. And so Akkad asked them, okay, so how many times have you actually been walking on the road? And then oh, I'm so sorry about that. So sorry about that. So my, so sorry about that. I think my phone just had a little bit of an issue. So let me just wrap this up real quick. All right. So they were asking about how to, I'm sorry if you're here again. I don't know. Isn't is gone because of what happened? But in case anybody sees this again, please just let me know that you can see me and I'm still live. Okay. All right. So while they were debating about if you can see money on, no, it was me. Sorry about that. It was my phone actually. Sorry about that. All right, so I'll just wrap this up in the next 5 minutes so that that doesn't repeat itself again. Okay, thank you so much, Ezinye. Thank you. All right, so they were asking about if you can see money on the road and pick it up, and then the Akkad asked them, okay, so has any of you ever seen walking on the road, maybe because the goddess of luck decided to visit you? And all of them said no, no, no. And they said, oh, okay, so maybe luck, you won't see luck that way. The goddess of luck or the universe will not favor you that way. But how about the gambling tables, like the gaming tables? Okay, so they also debated about that, and they realized that more persons actually lose money on the gaming tables than they make. So naturally, or like the rules of the gaming table are actually made to favor the owner of the gambling house, because he wants to make money and you want to make money, trying to make quick money and all that. You end up losing more money than can actually make. So they debated about that, and they found out that that is not the way to make money. And then as they continued the conversations, they realized something, that there is only one way to get lucky. I mean, like when you mention luck, it is always one thing, which is opportunity. Opportunity that meets you prepared, opportunity that meets you and you don't procrastinate on it, you action on it. That is where luck happens. So the opportunity comes, you grab it, you take advantage of it, you run with it, and at the end of the day, when you make your money out of it, or people see what eventually happened, they will say, this person was lucky. It's because this person helped him. It's because he was in so place at this particular time. That was why he got lucky. But no, luck actually is opportunity meeting preparedness. So in terms of in whatever way you want to think about it, whatever capacity you want to think about it, in that particular gathering, they went on to share their stories of how they were met with opportunity. Some of them, they procrastinated. Procrastination is like actually a big enemy of opportunity, or of grabbing opportunity. So some of them talk about how they had an opportunity, they missed out on it. A lot of people share stories like that. Then some persons also share story. I think maybe one person, I can't remember, one or two persons shared stories on how they had got hold of an opportunity and they took advantage of it, and they made a lot of money from that opportunity. So there is no such thing as somebody being just lucky for just being. More often than not, it is actually because the person was prepared for the opportunity that came their way. They were able to take act on it immediately, and they were able to find success because they did that. All right, so that is literally everything covering the richest man in Babylon, the book review. So I think I'm going to make like a different book review where I actually talk about I'll make a different book review, a shorter review, probably like maybe just 5 minutes to 10 minutes, where I talk, I just list all of this again: 7 cures for a lame purse, the laws of money, or the laws of gold. I think I'll make a my channel. All right, so yeah, that's about that. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, trust me, I really appreciate you coming on here to watch. Thank you so much, Izini. Thank you for joining. Thank you for staying true to the end. I really appreciate. And also I want to appreciate KKK, Jax the Maxman, Inspire Read. I want to really appreciate all of you for joining me here, and every single person that had been on this live stream. I know it's not everybody that commented or anything. Thank you so much. Thank you, Yasini. I really appreciate. All right, so I really hope to be able to do like more book reviews. It's just that like a lot of things. I have a lot of things to do on a daily basis. Sometimes I don't even have as much time to even read and come and do reviews and stuff like that. But I will try as much as I can, because it's something that I really love. All right, to bring more book reviews your way. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. Please, if you happen to see this, whether it's live or the replay, and you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe. On this channel, I talk a lot about how to make money, how to keep money, how to multiply money. Right now, my major focus is on how to make money, so, how you can make money online, how you can make money physically, what you can do to make money, how you can get started. These are the things that I'm currently addressing. And like I mentioned before, as we proceed, I'm going to take it a step further to talk about how to keep money, how to invest money, and bring on a lot of other things on this channel as well. So you want to make sure that you subscribe. Also, click on the bell notification, so whenever I drop a video or when I come on live like this, you would be able to get notifications and also learn. And if you're somebody that is actually interested in making money, I'm sure that you will find this channel very valuable. I have a lot of contents already. You can go ahead to watch some of these videos, take action on any of them, the one that speaks to you the best. Until I come your way next time, my name is Okezi Eni, and I will see you soon. Bye. All right, so how do I end this live stream? I'm not even sure. Okay, thank you. Bye.